you're paying them, you just don't know you're paying them. Yeah, we want to sell you a property because you're going to get the tax deductions. It's not that positive. You're losing money. So what they're telling you is just marketing does not help you pay your mortgage off faster. That $30,000 is the commission that the person selling to you, this property investment specialist, is making. They all get the keys on the same day. They're all looking for tenants the same day. And so that's because it's a shit investment. If you're buying a property and thinking you're going to make money over the next 3 to 5 years, I think you could be mistaken.
Welcome to the Crown Money Podcast. I'm Jessie Edge and I'm joined by Scott Parry. How are you, buddy?
Could not be better, Jess. Could not be better. How are you, more importantly?
Oh, great. The sun has started to shine here in Melbourne, so I'm excited. I'm excited for the summer. Bring on the summer.
The summer's excited for you, actually. The summer is excited for you.
Now, Scott, I've got a question for you. If somebody tries to sell me something based on me getting a tax deduction, in my mind, that sounds like it's a good thing. Is it?
This is a great question. Blanket statement, by the way, this is all general advice. It's not specific to you and your personal circumstances. If you want specific personal advice, go and see a professional. And everything that we're going to cover today is more educational and a little bit of entertainment, hopefully. So a little laugh or two. Anything that's sold to you on a tax deduction, run. Now, I know that's a blanket statement. The reason for that is when you're getting a tax deduction, it means you're losing money. Prime example. So let's say there's two properties. Property A, you make $1 in rental income, you get taxed 30 cents, you're 70 cents up. That's called positive cash flow. Then property B is you've lost $1, but the government feels sorry for you, so you get 30 cents back in tax, you're still 70 cents down. And every single property that you're buying brand new today is negatively geared or negative cash flow because the average yield of a rent is about 4% for any investment property, but most mortgages are at 6%. And so that's where that negative gear is it's costing you money. So most clients will be paying $200, $300 per week as a shortfall, the gap between the interest only payment and their rent. And so when people are trying to sell you something that's negatively geared or a tax deduction and trying to frame it in a positive way, it's not that positive. You're losing money.
Cool.
So that is like the overarching statement. The problem with that is when these people are trying to sell you this, you're going to get tax deductions and you can pay your mortgage off faster with the tax deduction. That's called a PAYG withholding variation form. So what that basically means is people can apply to get their annual tax return of $7,000, for example, paid in their weekly, fortnightly, monthly pay. And so rather than waiting for the end of the year to get the $7,000, they actually get it throughout the year. That's beneficial if the property is positive cash flow and you can continue to pay down your home loan faster with that positive cash flow. But if it's negative cash flow, it's just still the same loss that you're making. You're just getting some of that money back, not all of it, nowhere near all of it, throughout the weekly, fortnightly, monthly pay. So no, I don't think buying anything that's sold to you on a tax deduction or depreciation is another example of that. That is how people try and sell these house and land packages, these shit boxes on these little postage stamp size land, like you're 220 square meters. And they say, but you get all the depreciation. That's because it's a shit investment. They're trying to basically dangle a carrot in front of you to say, hey, you're going to get this out of it. Depreciation means the building's losing value, all the fixtures and fittings in the building are losing value. It's a soft dollar cost. If you're buying a property just because of depreciation, you're going to lose long term. What you want to be doing is looking for the biggest chunk of land that you possibly can, because the greatest investment on earth is earth itself.
I love that expression. That's a really good one. And I think as well, it's important for everyone to understand that selling something on a tax deduction is the easy way out. It's like a very common marketing trick, and it's literally designed to catch you hook, line, and sinker. And you kind of go, well, what are the actual merits of this deal or transaction or investment? And if it's just that I'm getting a tax deduction, then it's probably not the right thing to do.
No, it's not. And another sort of one of these carrots which these property spruikers will try and persuade you to buy this shit investment from them where they get 20,000 commission, by the way. That's all
Mm.
baked into the build price, or the developer pays them this. You don't know this, but that's what's happening. That's why they're motivated and trying to sell you this. And you're like, oh, far out. Oh, they're doing it all for free, or they try and disguise that they charge a membership fee. But they're making $20,000, $30,000 a property. Now, I'm going to tell you whatever you want to hear if I'm making $20,000, $30,000 per property off anyone. And so that's what these property spruikers are doing. They're raping your basic equity that you've worked hard for in your home, and that valuation comes in low on your purchase. Like,
Yeah, we've had so many problems with this when people have applied for finance to buy these properties, and the valuers will literally list in the valuation what the buyer's fee was, the agent's fee was, and they will take that off the value of the property because
Yep.
it's not true value.
No, it's like you're
Yeah,
buying a 500, let's call it a $500,000 property, but your purchase price is 530, and then the value values it, goes, man, that's a $500,000 property all day every day, but you're buying it for 530. That 30,000 is the commission that the person selling it to you, this property investment specialist, is making. And so they do it with house and land packages. They bake it into the build cost. So you sort of like, oh, I'm just buying it for this amount. The value goes through the build contract. It's like, man, that's 30 grand overpriced. And so they'll then say, oh, you can expect the bank valuation to come in at least 5 to 10% below purchase price. It's like every single property you buy on realestate.com.au on the market, the valuation comes in at exactly what you paid because that's the market price.
100%, but not for the house and land packages.
Or the apartments, the
The apartments.
this shitty apartment out the back of nowhere with 1,000 other apartments. So they all are sold to investors. Then they all get the keys on the same day. They're all looking for tenants the same day. And so there's oversupply, lack of demand. We know what that does. Doesn't move any needle. And so you've got, once again, this 45 square meters of dirt. You got strata fees, body corporate fees. Like, it's a horrific investment cash flow wise. We've seen thousands of people over the last 2 decades, and the ones who've bought apartments versus the ones who've bought dirt. Wow, what a difference. I mean,
Such a significant change. Yeah, such a significant difference. And it is really sad because it's kind of, once you're in, you are a little bit snookered, and you kind of wish we could have had those conversations with our clients before they committed to these sort of things. But yeah, what do you, I mean, we see a lot of different types of property people out there. People having lots of different conversations with different people. There are different kind of fees that clients will be charged for property advice. What's your kind of thoughts on all of that?
So, yeah, the property spruikers will try and dress themselves up as a buyer's agent. Okay, they're very different. And so a property spruiker has the commission built into the build contract for a house and land package, or a developer for an apartment will just put it into the sale price. So it's not a check being cut. You're not paying anything up front, you as the buyer. Whereas a buyer's agent is very different. They're charging you a fee for their service. That fee ranges, I've heard it as low as 3 and as high as 40 grand. And so that buyer's agent say, hey, you pay me, I will source a property for you, bid for you, like execute the contract for you, like basically hold your hand like a concierge. And they say that because I do this all day, every day, I'm going to be able to get better deals than what you can do if you're doing this by yourself. That's obviously debatable depending on the buyer's agent and their skill set. We do work with the 2 best buyer's agents in Australia and have done for decades. They're averaging 16% capital growth in the first 12 months of an acquisition. And so that's just the data. So those buyer's agents who actually are very good at their job, you've used a buyer's agent recently, Jess. How was your experience?
And I thought it was fantastic because I did buy an investment property, I think it was 12, 13 years ago. I sold it after 10 years for the exact price that I'd paid for it. Mm-hmm. And it just goes to show that, unless you're really into it and you really understand properties, suburbs, locations, that sort of stuff, you can get it wrong. You can really easily get it wrong. And so for me, I found it to be incredibly valuable. The experience was seamless. They really kind of spelled out why they had picked a particular property. It was just it's not a brand new house and land. It wasn't an apartment. It was just an older house on a block. It's already doing incredibly well. It's renting out at 5.5% rental yield. Wow. Just phenomenal. And I was like, yeah. And they actually kind of they really did hold my hand throughout the entire process, which I really, really appreciated. They hooked me up with the right conveyancer, the right property manager. So I just found that journey really, really, really beneficial, and I thought it was well worth it.
Yep.
But one thing I would say is my favorite question to ask if you're speaking to a property person is, if they recommend a property to you, how many properties have you sold in this development or this apartment or this location? Because if they're like, I've sold like 10 in this one development, they're getting a really decent kickback from that developer. Like, not necessarily a suburb of older houses is different, but if you say to them, how many houses have you sold in, this unit or complex, and they say, I've sold a bunch, they're getting something for it.
Yeah, that's if you're using a property spruiker. But what you're talking about there is a buyer's agent where they're charging a fee up front.
Yeah.
So you paid a fee up front, and their sort of justification for that. So we'll do all the legwork, we'll find the property, do it, etc. But we will make sure that you get that back in capital growth.
Yeah.
A lot faster than if you would go and try and find something yourself.
100%, and I already have.
There we go. And how long ago did you settle on it?
I settled in May.
What's that?
4 months.
4 or 5 months. You've already got that.
So I've already got my fee back, which is just phenomenal. And you can see that the growth in the area is escalating. So it's awesome.
So very big difference between buyers agents. They charge you a fee up front. As I said, it can be 15 grand, 20 grand, whatever that may be, versus property spruikers who might charge you a membership fee, but they don't actually charge you a fee up front. And you're like, that's a pretty good deal. They're sort of working for me. You're paying them. You just don't know you're paying them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, in terms of, obviously, the property that this buyer's agent went through, how many did they send you? Like, was this just the first property they sent you? You said, that's the one. Like, tell me about that process.
No. We went through, I think, about 6.
Great.
So we were really clear on our criteria, and they were fantastic at kind of meeting us where we wanted to be. And there's just certain reasons that we kind of said no to certain properties, and then this one came along and it was an absolute yes. So which was fantastic. We moved really quickly. They did all the negotiation for us, and we paid, what I thought was a really good price. And it was actually, the owner of the property is renting it back off us. So we had instant tenants from day one. They signed a 12-month lease agreement right from the beginning, and they're taking really good care of the property. So I don't know, I just really appreciated the conversations that they had with various agents. They even knew that they wouldn't deal with certain real estate agents because the real estate agents always drove the price up too much. And so they knew not to negotiate with them. They're not good people to negotiate with. Let's move to a different property. And it really does take away the emotional side of it, because it's just all about the numbers and being very analytical. So
did you have a pre-approval before that purchase, or how did the finance work on that?
Absolutely. So never, ever go into the conversations around a purchase until you have your pre-approval in place. So there's 2 different types of pre-approvals. So a pre-approval with your broker or, our company would be just a conversation around, what can I afford? What do my numbers look like? And it's just a quick review of everything. And this is what you can afford. Then once you are much closer to pushing the button, you get a conditional approval in place, which means the lender has looked at everything except for the security property itself. So not a lot of lenders, not every lender, will do a conditional approval, but there are some that will. But at least you've gotten the ball rolling. The deal is most of the way approved. All they need is that contract of sale and the valuation, and then they can tick off the final boxes and proceed to formal approval.
Do you feel that you had better negotiating skills and abilities with a pre-approval in place?
Yeah, absolutely, because the finance clause and the settlement term matter. Especially with investment properties, you've got people coming in that will pay in cash. You've got, various different situations where it can put the pressure on. So if you go in with a strong offer and a short timeline, you've got a lot of bargaining power. So I think that definitely did matter.
So
I think for us as well, like I wouldn't even want to have those conversations unless I was sure I was going to be able to get the money.
Yeah, and so all you listeners out there, if you do want a pre-approval or a borrowing capacity, or just to know how much you can actually borrow, hit us up. We'll run all your numbers for you. We'll tell you exactly what your ceiling is. That then gives you the idea of what pond you can fish in. And then more importantly, the buyer's agents will tell you basically what you can look for in each of those ponds and where those best ponds are based on all their data. Where's the infrastructure spend going? What are the governments doing there? What are the gentrification programs that they've got running? Which you just don't know what you don't know. Whereas people who do this all day, every day, that's just the data they live out of.
Their list of criteria was insane. And it wasn't just about the suburb. It was down to an individual street level. And within the individual street, it was particular houses. One of the really interesting ones, which I had never thought of, was in a city, in a suburb, you'll have certain areas that are predominantly owner-occupied and some that are predominantly investment.
Mm-hmm.
And so they lean towards the owner-occupied locations because they know the houses are better taken care of, the front gardens look nicer, it's got the better street appeal. So just stuff like that, you go, I just would never have thought of that.
No. So, yeah, that's it. Very big difference. Do not buy anything that's being sold to you on a tax deduction. Did at any stage any of the buyer's agents you engage in talk about tax deductions?
Absolutely not. Absolutely
Depreciation.
not. It's the merits of the property itself.
Yes. Depreciation. They mentioned depreciation.
No.
Okay, so these are buzzwords. If you're speaking to people, please hit us up if you are speaking to people so we can actually guide you and just be that sounding board to save you from making a very expensive mistake. But if any of these people that you're speaking to have hit you up like, yeah, we want to sell you a property because you're going to get the tax deductions to help you pay your mortgage off faster, you actually pay your mortgage off slower because the rent doesn't cover the mortgage and it slows your debt reduction because you have to top it up by $200-$300 per week. So what they're telling you is just marketing spin. It does not help you pay your mortgage off faster. Yeah, it's going to be an asset at the end of the day, hopefully for your kids to inherit, but it's not going to help you pay your home loan off faster because of the tax deductions.
Yeah, absolutely. Investing is a long-term play, not a short-term play.
You've got to think in decades. I mean, I'm telling you right here, right now, if you're buying a property and thinking you're going to make money over the next 3 to 5 years, I think you could be mistaken. I do know that when you're passing away and your kids inherit the property, they're going to think it was the smartest move you ever made.
Yeah. That's awesome. Thanks, buddy. Thank you so much for that. Great insight. We'll see you next time.
See you soon. Bye.